Unfaithful partner shocked by divorce papers and job termination. The other day, I lost my job, was handed divorce papers, and found myself mentioned in my supervisor's divorce documents. We'd been involved in an affair for 6 months. My husband repossessed his car and barred me from our home. Thankfully, a few acquaintances were kind enough to alert me to her intentions. Big thanks to them, though they're hesitant to testify against her in court. Hey everyone! We are back with another story to share today. You've already seen the title, so let's get started. So, Reddit support for those who've strayed seeking advice. Recently, I was fired, served with divorce papers, and named in my boss's divorce proceedings. We've been having an affair for 6 months. My husband reclaimed his car and locked me out of our house. All the vehicles are inaccessible, and I've been cut off from our joint account. We've been married for 5 years and have known each other since we were kids. Mutual friends and his family have completely shut me out. Our parents have been friends for years. My dad tried reaching out to my husband's parents but was told to stop, as stated in the papers I received. I contacted the lawyer and was informed that their client insists on no contact, neither with him nor his family by me or my family. He's not interested in any form of reconciliation right now. Any further communication, once I have legal representation, should be between the attorneys. Does anyone have thoughts on how I should proceed? I just need to talk to my husband. We need to discuss everything and sort it out. I fully grasp what I've done and deeply regret my actions and their impact on him, but we need to talk this through. The wife of the man I was involved with reached out and wants to meet. I'm torn about how to handle this. She wants to meet face-to-face in a public place. Part of me wants to apologize and make amends for the trouble I've caused, while another part is terrified to meet her. I posted earlier about meeting my affair partner's wife, and it was the most positive experience I've had since everything unraveled. First off, she was incredibly kind and grateful that I agreed to meet. I was completely honest with her and accepted all the blame. She went over the timeline of the affair and the gifts I received. I'd provided her lawyer with the timeline. She was very specific about the details. She mentioned that my husband had contacted her in February with his suspicions, prompting her own investigation. She's still in touch with my husband. She didn't say it outright but hinted at it. She's divorcing her husband. It's his second infidelity, and she plans to make it difficult for him, her words. As we were leaving, she showed me a photo of her children and explained the role I played in the breakdown of her marriage. There's nothing I can say to convey how this affects me moving forward. Her kids know my name and what I look like. I'm devastated all over again, but I'm glad I met her. She carried herself with such grace and was truly a lady. Whoa, things aren't going well for you. That moment seems to be the happiest she's been since getting caught. That's the happiest moment she's had. Wow. So it appears the husband reached out to the wife. Oh man, the husband handled everything perfectly. He did everything right, reached out to the wife, got a lawyer, and they're working together. Got her fired. I hope the husband got fired too. That's what should happen. This is how you respond when she cheats on you. You take decisive action. The husband took action. Not only did he serve divorce papers, but he also got her fired from her job. He knew she was involved with her manager, which violates company policy. He got everything in order and maintained no contact. I love that. She can only communicate through lawyers. No contact with his family or friends, that's how you handle it. You cheat on me? I'll show you. I love it. Alright, let's look at some comments to see if we can gather more information. I honestly don't think you fully understand what you've done or the heartache you've caused, and I don't mean that harshly. This might be tough to hear, but he's made it clear he doesn't want to talk to you. It's up to him if he chooses to do so in the future. I recommend starting individual counseling as soon as possible to work through your actions, the consequences, and how to move forward mentally. Let me offer some insight into how your husband might be feeling. You regret getting caught, and your comments show you feel bad about the fallout from being caught. I don't hear anything suggesting you understand the harm you've caused and the pain your husband is experiencing. What is there for him to discuss with you? Your husband is hurting. He's built an emotional wall and set boundaries to protect himself from further pain. Your comments focus on you. The only way to possibly open communication is to send a message through an intermediary expressing genuine remorse, not just regret. Look up the difference, for what you've done to him, and that you wish to apologize without expecting forgiveness or to save the marriage. You need an attorney and a good therapist or counselor. Your remarks about knowing him since childhood, feeling blindsided by the divorce papers, and having your family contact him despite his legal request not to are glaring signs that you don't truly grasp what you've done. Cheating is one of the deepest forms of emotional abuse. You've known this man since childhood. You should have known how profoundly your actions would affect him. Feeling blindsided by being served? Imagine how he felt discovering that you, someone he's known all his life, could betray him. Being served, especially with a no-contact order, isn't an opportunity for reconciliation or discussion. Please step back and comply with his requests. You won't be able to explain away this betrayal. You'll need to do some serious self-work, being calm while held accountable, working on rebuilding trustworthiness, showing humility, and simply doing what he's asked so he can heal. As you mentioned in your previous post, this was the one positive step you could take. I know you might not accept praise for being honest and open with her, but give yourself a bit of credit for making yourself vulnerable to bring some comfort to this woman. We all know that cheating is often the easier path. Meeting with the other betrayed spouse was the harder choice. The journey back to who we thought we were involves making tough choices repeatedly. You've taken another step forward on that path. If you need to talk to someone about this, please do. You made a grave mistake, but you're not beyond redemption. You're also facing the consequences and showing courage, which will set you up for a better life moving forward. Good for you for confronting the situation. Don't panic if you feel sad or are struggling. That's a sign you're processing it. Here's the original poster, thanks. I don't feel brave, and I met with her as much for me as for her. My husband has maintained no contact for over 2 months. I'm completely cut off from his pain. I can only guess how he's doing. My daily life feels like a slow, painful decline. We were best friends for years. Our families have been friends since before we were born. My actions have destroyed everything we had and left me emotionally and physically drained, extremely stressed, and nearly depressed. This isn't about me or any future version of myself. Guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments. This is how you handle it. When you catch someone cheating, there's no need to dig through phones for more evidence unless it's for legal purposes. Don't confront them with questions like, "Why did you do it?" or "I thought you loved me." Instead, consult a lawyer, gather your evidence, let the attorney handle it, and serve the divorce papers promptly. Specify no contact. Don't reach out to him or his family. You need a lawyer because he's divorcing you. Let's move on to another story. Alright, Reddit legal advice. Abusive wife's family withholding US citizen kids in India. Can a judge order her family to return the kids? Both my wife and I are Indian citizens living in the US. Under immense pressure from my wife's family a few months ago, I agreed to send the kids to India for a month. However, they now refuse to send the kids back, and it's been several months. Both of my children are toddlers. My wife has a pending domestic battery case against her, with me as the victim here in the US. I'm currently seeking a divorce and a restraining order with an emergency motion to have the kids returned. I'm wondering if a judge will grant such a request since my wife wasn't the one who took them. Edit, consequences of fleeing the country after being served divorce papers while attempting to escape to India. Kids are with their family in India after being served divorce papers and a pending domestic battery case. Assuming a default judgment goes through, does this count as an ex parte divorce since India doesn't recognize them? What legal consequences could she face for fleeing during all this? Wow. Edit number 2, wife is trying to coerce or bribe acquaintances to speak negatively about me in court. How can I counter this? Divorce proceedings are underway. I have a protective order against my wife based on domestic violence charges, so I have temporary custody of the kids. She's attempting to dismiss the order and regain custody by lying to our acquaintances and coercing them, with indirect bribes in some cases, to testify in court, portraying me as unstable and a bad father. Fortunately, some acquaintances were kind enough to warn me about her plans. Big thanks to them, though they aren't comfortable speaking against her in court. How can I counter her strategy? So, your wife was abusive toward you? You served her with divorce papers, and she sends the kids to India. You should have seen that coming. You tried to hold her accountable, and she managed to get the kids out of the country. The grandparents are now refusing to return them. They likely planned this. They thought, we'll get the kids first, then bring you over here, and you won't return to the US. That's their plan, sir. They've succeeded in taking the kids away. You might never see them again. They're playing dirty, lying in court, saying you're the problem. Meanwhile, she's the abusive one, but because you're the man, they assume you're at fault. They'll let the unfit mother keep the kids and push you aside, even though you're the victim. Society often treats men unfairly in these situations. Let's check out some comments. I don't believe a US judge can help much here. Your in-laws in India aren't under US jurisdiction. Consider reaching out to your member of Congress or senator. They might connect you with the State Department, who can liaise with authorities in India. No need to go through congressional staff. The State Department's International Parental Child Abduction Specialists can work with you directly. Excellent suggestion, that's a great resource. I wasn't aware such assistance existed. Glad someone shared that. Regarding contacting your congressional representatives, they might be more aware of resources to help you. Here's the original poster, thanks for the resource. I felt this was more for preventing abductions and helping with abducted kids. Unfortunately, this issue is beyond what Reddit can offer. You need to consult an attorney experienced in international child abduction cases. Someone else mentioned that the biggest consequence is that the divorce might proceed without her, which could prevent her from disputing asset division or child and spousal support. You'll still get divorced whether she participates or not. At the very least, you've informed your lawyer, right? Maybe your attorney can discuss this with hers. Lawyers generally dislike when clients take matters into their own hands. Accusations of being a bad father won't necessarily dismiss a protective order. It's doubtful she'll succeed in portraying you as unstable. Keep your attorney informed. They should know about any potential witnesses involved in the proceedings. It's a tough situation. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this story and the first one. I really liked the first one. Share your opinions on both. I'll catch you all in the next one.